So you might have just heard that Donald Trump's lawyer, Bruce Castor, gave one of the most awful and nonsensical and hilarious opening statements in judicial history, and he did it during a Senate impeachment trial for former President Donald Trump. I want to play you a whole series of clips here which shows not only that he is woefully unprepared, but that he admits, essentially, that Donald Trump lost and that the House Democratic impeachment managers did a better job than he did.
When I was growing up in suburban Philadelphia, my parents were big fans of Senator Everett Dirksen from Illinois. And Senator Dirksen recorded a series of lectures that my parents had on a record. And we still know what records are, right? On the thing you put the needle down on and you play it. And here's little Bruce, 8, 9, 10 years old, listening to this back in the late 60s. And I would be listening to that voice. If you ever heard Everett Dirksen's voice, it's the most commanding, gravelly voice that just oozes belief and sincerity. Must have been a phenomenal United States Senator. He doesn't talk about ordinary people as we do in the law. We apply the ordinary person standard. He talks about extraordinary people. He talks about gallant men, was the name of the album. And now, of course, in the sign of the times, gallant men and women. Their families. They love the states that they represent. There isn't a member in this room who has not used the term, I represent the great state of fill in the blank. Why? Because they're all great? Yeah. But you think yours is greater than others because these are your people. These are the people that sent you here to do their work. They trusted you with the responsibility of representative government. You know, I feel proud to know my senators. Senator Casey up here in the back, Senator Toomey over to the left. You know, it's funny, this is an aside, but it's funny. You ever notice how when you're talking or you hear others talking about you when you're home in your state, they will say, you know, I talked to my senator, or I talked to somebody on the staff of my senator. It's always my senator. Why is it that we say my senator? We say that because the people you represent are proud of their senators. So senators are patriots. Senators are family men and women. They're fierce advocates for the great state in which they represent. And somewhere far down that list of attributes, way below patriot, and way below love of family and country, and way below fierce advocates for their states, far down, at least that's what I thought, anyway, and I still think that. Somewhere far down that list, senators have some obligation to be partisans. I don't know about off the top of my head, but each one of them, once there was the vacuum created that the greatest deliberative bodies, the Senate of Greece sitting in Athens, the Senate of Rome, the moment that they devolved into such partisanship, it's not as though they ceased to exist. They ceased to exist as representative democracy, both replaced by totalitarianism. I was going to say it will, instead of floodgates, I was going to say originally it will release the whirlwind, which is a a biblical reference. But I subsequently learned since I got here that that particular phrase has already been taken, so I figured I better change it to floodgates. I saw on television the last couple of days the honorable gentleman from Nebraska, Mr. Sass. I saw that he faced backlash back home because of a vote he made some weeks ago. That a political party was complaining about a decision he made as a United States Senator. You know, it's interesting because I don't want to steal the thunder from the other lawyers, but Nebraska, you're going to hear, is quite a judicial thinking place. And just maybe Senator Sass is on to something. You'll hear about what it is that the Nebraska courts have to say about the issue that you all are deciding this week. There seem to be some pretty smart jurists in Nebraska, and I can't believe a United States Senator doesn't know that. And the reason that I am having trouble with the argument is the American people just spoke, and they just changed administrations. So in the light most favorable to my colleagues on the other side of the aisle here, their system works. The people are smart enough, in the light most favorable to them, they're smart enough to pick a new administration if they don't like the old one. And they just did. And he's down there Pennsylvania Avenue now, probably wondering, how come none of my stuff is happening up at the Capitol? I think that I want to give my colleague, Mr. Schoen, an opportunity to explain to all of us the legal analysis on jurisdiction. I'll be quite frank with you. We changed what we were going to do on account that we thought that the House manager's presentation was well done. And I wanted you to know that we have responses to those things. I thought that what the first part of the case was, which was the equivalent of a motion to dismiss, was going to be about jurisdiction alone. And one of the fellows who spoke for the House managers, who's a former criminal defense attorney, seemed to suggest that there's something nefarious that we were discussing jurisdiction and trying to get the case dismissed. But this is where it happens in the case, because jurisdiction is the first thing that has to be found. We have counter arguments to everything that they raised, and you will hear them later on in the case from Mr. Van der Veen and from myself.
So I know I threw a lot at you there, but you can see this is a man that just absolutely did not do his job in getting ready. Nothing here was done well. Nothing. Totally unprepared. Rambling, just going on about podcasts and record players and going on about Greece and Rome. He admits Donald Trump lost, so he says, what's the point of this? Even though Donald Trump to this day refuses to admit his own defeat, and he closes off, basically. He closes off by saying, oh, you know, the reason we sound so unprepared here is because the other guys just did a really, really good job, and I guess we weren't expecting that. If you want to know how bad this is, Alan Dershowitz, who was one of Donald Trump's key defenders during the last impeachment and has written so much about Donald Trump and how it was awful he's being impeached and how everyone was mean to him, again, on pro-Trump Newsmax, said the following about this.
I just want to take a moment here to break down some of what's being discussed, because we do have Alan Dershowitz standing by, Professor Emeritus Alan Dershowitz at Harvard Law. What are you making of Bruce Castor's argument so far? Where is he heading with this?
There is no argument. I have no idea what he's doing. I have no idea why he's saying what he's saying. You know, he's introducing himself. I'm a nice guy. I like my senators. I know my senators. Senators are great people. Come on. The American people are entitled to an argument, a constitutional argument. I suspect will be forthcoming from David Schoen. But this, just after all kinds of very strong presentations on the part of the House managers with the videotapes, and the emotional speech by Congressman Raskin, my former student, you know, you get up there and you respond. We know that hard cases make bad law. I probably would have started with that. This is a hard case. This is an emotional case. He did say, and I think very appropriately, that everybody wants to take revenge when they see a horrible event that took place at the Capitol, but then he went off. I just don't understand it.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll bring it home, but right now, it does not appear to me to be effective advocacy. He may know the senators better than I do. Maybe they want to be buttered up. Maybe they want to be told what great people they are and how he knows two senators. But boy, it's not the kind of argument I would have made, I have to tell you that.
So again, even a pro-Trump guy is like, my goodness, the Democrats did such a good job. They actually prepared. They brought their evidence. They made their case. You can agree with it or disagree with it. And this guy is doing nothing. He's talking about the other senators. He's talking about himself being a nice guy, and he's not actually presenting a legal or political or constitutional case. The sad thing is, though, none of this is gonna matter. Like, Donald Trump does not need a legal A or B or C or even D, E, F, G team here. He doesn't. Because the Republican senators, barring maybe 5 or 6 of them, will never convict him no matter what. But what you are seeing here is that regardless of the outcome of this trial, there is no way to actually defend what Donald Trump did. So this is all you can do. All I can say here is that this guy gives Rudy Giuliani a run for his money when it comes to embarrassing Trump lawyers.